Frank, great to have you with us.
Always a pleasure.
Let me start off by asking you, why, in your opinion, platinum is lower today, despite the fact we got all that supply basically offline from one of the largest countries that supplies platinum to the world.
Well, the tragedy in the South African mining community with the strike and the executions basically of the miners as they came out of the mines is the leading edge that drove the platinum rally. Platinum rallied ahead of the other precious metals, but it has also come off of a situation where there was a fairly ample supply before this strike. And so in the first week or 2 weeks of the disruption, you were able to absorb the shortage, the lack of production coming out of this particular complex. As it grows on, there's less organization in the mining community. There's less a single source that can be negotiated with, and that does portend for a real possibility that this can spread to the other mines. If that happens and you end up with a longer-term disruption, you'll see platinum ignore other fundamental economics and continue higher. Right now, today, we're seeing a consolidation as the rest of the precious metals continue to rally up on the hope of a QE3 coming out of the Jackson Hole or the next September Fed summit. You can't argue with the tape, but at the same time, there are just very conflicting economic news as to whether that will occur. So at this particular point, we've probably taken the initial reaction and adjusted platinum prices accordingly, and it'll be just a wait-and-see game from here.
I don't want to overlook, the incredible tragedy of the 44 miners who died, but give me a sense of how long, if these mines were to be offline for a very long time and it spread to other platinum mines, as you mentioned, again, what's the impact on platinum prices over the next month, 2 months, 3 months?
Well, the knee-jerk reaction, if it spreads to a broader action in platinum or if it spills over into the other metals, will be a significantly higher sustainable price in very, very short order. It'll just be a gut reaction to that. After those initial spikes, you'll see it trail off as the new price allocates available product. But there was a fair amount of platinum around before this started. The real question is how long does this go on and if it spreads. If it spreads, you could add $150 or $200 more to platinum very quickly. If it doesn't, then I think you could see platinum trail down, especially if the other precious metals get a disappointment and don't get any type of imminent action out of the Fed or out of the ECB. Now you're hearing talk this morning of a delay by ECB action until after the German vote. Well, that really is another 3-4 weeks up the road. So there's uncertainty in thin markets. Makes for interesting times.
And I guess, I know you're not in South Africa. You're a trader, you're taking a look. But what is from what you're hearing from people, how concerned are they that the problems will spread more to platinum miners? Because I understand they're not so concerned it'll expand to other gold miners, for example.
There's definite concern. The platinum mining is a more dangerous type of mining. And probably the bigger component is that there isn't really a solid organizational front. You're seeing a lot of splinter groups inside of this particular mine. And so there's a lot of concern. I think to an overarching level, that concern has been towards all South African production. If you go back a couple years ago where you had infrastructure and energy failures that caused the original rally over 2000, South Africa itself, while a crucial resource, is a concern, and it will be an ongoing concern. If there were alternate places, I think you would see investment money move there rather than develop new in South Africa.
Let me ask you about QE3, Jackson Hole. The markets, we're seeing commodities come down, up a bit today. We've got the dollar moving down because of those durable goods numbers came in a little better than expected. Perhaps people thinking the Fed won't be as quick to jump in. What are your thoughts? Where do you see the precious metals going?
Well, I think this rally, after several weeks of congestion, this rally is really on the hope rather than the certainty that there will be new action. If the Fed doesn't act, or if we continue to get conflicting numbers, then I think there's a real likelihood that you will see us break into the U.S. elections rather than rally. If, however, you get a very strong signal out of Jackson Hole or out of the September meeting, or very significant action by the European Central Bank, then we'll go with that news. The problem is right now the market says, or is expecting and has priced in some new action. So the real potential now is, if it fails, watch out.